Hello everyone and welcome. During WWDC, Apple introduced a slew of software updates to most of its operating systems, including iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and so on. Now, all of the new operating systems were available for developers immediately after the conference introduction via the Apple Developer Program. It was also announced that all of these updates would be available to the public via an open beta program to launch sometime in July. Now, Apple managed to beat their own schedule here and launched the open beta version of these new operating systems yesterday on the 30th of June. And I'm happy about that. I'm not gonna complain. I mean, we don't need to be a developer right now to have access to this beta. While none of these operating systems will officially launch until later in fall of 2021, we can now test them on our own devices. And today we're gonna update my iPhone 12 Pro Max to the latest iOS 15, and I'm gonna show you the entire process step by step. And again, it's a very simple process in of itself. If you weren't aware, I did the same kind of process and video yesterday for the Android 12 beta program. I mentioned there a few disclaimers and they apply today just as much. What are these disclaimers? First up, you need to take a backup of your phone right now on iOS 14, so very important. Take a backup of your iPhone on a Mac or a PC. Make sure you archive it so that you don't lose it, because the catch is, if you take a backup of the phone after you've upgraded it to iOS 15 beta, you will no longer be able to downgrade it to iOS 14 without basically having to wipe it completely and set it up as a new iPhone. Secondly, if this is your main device, don't upgrade to the beta yet. The beta name suggests that this version is not ready for prime time quite yet, and again, there may be bugs, functionalities may not be working. The experience itself with the beta version may be a broken mess overall, so some of your games or your apps may not be working. Again, do not do this on your main device. I'm going to do it on a 12 Pro Max because my daily driver is the 12 mini. I'm going to keep that on iOS 14 for now, and I'm not going to bother upgrading it. Thirdly, device eligibility. Well, basically, if your device runs the latest version of iOS 14 or iPadOS 14, it can also run iOS 15 or iPadOS 15. Now, with that out of the way, let's go through the steps that you need to follow in order to enroll your device into Apple's open beta program and install iOS 15 beta on your own iPhone. As we can see here, my iPhone 12 Pro Max is still running iOS 14.6. And the first step we need to follow is go to Apple's beta software portal from the phone itself through Safari and sign in with our Apple ID. And here we are on Apple's beta software program landing page, and we're going to need to sign up using our own Apple ID. And after we're signed in, we have a guide for public betas. Again, there's a disclaimer at the bottom of the page that warns you to create a backup of your iOS device and telling you clearly that iOS 15 public beta is still in development. Again, stating that some applications and services may not work as expected and your data may not be backwards compatible. So be very careful to make a backup before starting the process with iTunes or with your Mac directly using Finder. Now, at the top of the page, on the right-handed corner, we click down on this arrow and enroll your devices. And we're going to need to install an iOS profile on our device. It's basically a configuration profile that will allow us to download iOS 15 beta. So we're going to click download profile, we're going to allow, and we're going to go to settings to install it. Now in settings, we're going to have a new section here labeled profile downloaded. We're going to click on that. And it's basically the iOS 15 and iPadOS beta software profile. And we're going to install it. It's going to prompt us to enter the passcode. Obviously, there's a huge consent message here warning us once more about the status of pre-release software, beta software as is. We're going to click install again. And we're prompted yet again to install. It's going to require a restart of the phone, so we're going to do that. And now with the profile installed, we're going to go and see if we received the iOS 15 beta update. And as you can see, we have the iOS 15 public beta 2. It's a 5.3 gigabytes download, so it's a pretty hefty download. We're going to download and install it. And now it's just a question of letting it download and actually install. It's going to take a good while, 23 minutes download, and probably a bit after that for the installation. Now for iPadOS, the steps are pretty much the exact same. You just have to come to the Apple Beta Software Program landing page. You have to sign in and once more enroll your device. We're going to do that just now. So again, we're going to click enroll your devices. iPadOS this time. And it's basically the exact same steps as in iOS. Again, we're being warned to archive a backup of this device. And we're going to need to install a beta profile that will allow us to get the update to iOS 15 public beta. And we're going to do just that. We're going to allow it. It says the profile is downloaded, and let's go to settings. We're being prompted to allow the installation of this beta profile. This will allow us to afterwards download iPadOS 15 beta. So we're going to install the profile. Probably this is going to ask for a restart. First, it's going to ask for the passcode. Again, we're going to get a disclaimer from Apple, and we're going to install. Again, a restart is required, and after the restart, as was the case for the iPhone, here on the iPad, of course, we also get iPadOS 15 Public Beta 2. We're going to download and install that. It's also a pretty large download at 5.55 gigabytes, so this one's going to take a bit of time as well. And one restart, and roughly an hour later, we're on iOS 15. The entire process took, like I said, about an hour, give or take. It was pretty much the same for the iPad. So basically now I have iOS 15 and iPadOS 15 set up in their beta versions. There's going to be a bunch of updates to this beta software before the final release takes place in late summer, early autumn. I'm going to be testing out the iOS 15 and iPadOS 15 over the coming days and weeks, and I'm going to do some follow-up videos. With that, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.